show. This week's special guest is John Stewart Mill and Jeremy Bentham.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us.
For having us.
I'm great, guys. Great to have you guys. Tell us about yourself. I heard a lot about you all too, and I just want to hear it directly from the philosophers themselves.
Well, I came up with the principle of utility, which is that one's actions should bring the most happiness for the most people. This comes from my drive towards social and legal reform in the 18th century, and I hope that my principle would become the foundation for the reform. And Mill's approach was a little different than mine, as we all know. So you want to tell us about that?
Oh yeah. So it is true. I'm not, so much concerned with the ethical framework. I see that the good life does not just consist of a pleasure, but rather it could include pleasure, combining by pain.
So if I'm not mistaken, you both are similar when talking about this month's topic. So now what exactly is the similarities and differences between the two?
So you can say we share similar, information about the happiness of the peoples and the utility, but it's considered I just focus more than Bentham with these things,
Okay.
Yeah, because we share the same stuff, but I focus more than, and I create in that things, more than what he do,
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and see, for me, I see that the essence and the nature of humanity is that we're pleasure seekers and we're pain avoiders. And we will do whatever it costs to have the most amount of happiness and the least amount of pain for our own self. It's not in our nature to have the feeling for humanity, as this guy says.
So off the book question, how do you all feel about happiness? I want to know each one's opinion on that.
Well, I see that we all search to obtain more happiness for ourselves, and so by attaining our own happiness, then everyone can strive and achieve their own happiness for the greater good of the world.
You see, I disagree with him, but we cannot need only to concern about ourselves. We cannot be and must be concerned for other happiness. So we have to care about these things, which is apart and can enhance our own happiness as well as the majority happiness. Pleasure can be distinguished by their quality. Some of may better than other on some come with pain.
Okay. Now Mill's getting a little ahead of me now. When talking about personhood and all that, my main focus is on what each idea is a necessary criteria for humanhood.
Humanhood actually is a rest, is in our feeling of a human, which is a humanity. We have this feeling of emotion, toward other people and other human, just like us, as we are human. So, because we are one in the same as a group, so your group, my group, whatever, we are part in the things. So we are conscious, which is concerned with the happiness of us.
For me, humanhood rests in our nature, which is ruled by two sovereign masters, pain and pleasure. The consequences of our actions are always more important than the motives behind our actions. And we all instinctively act in a way where we will have more pleasure in the end than we will have pain.
Okay.
That's good, man.
So now, John, when you were going through your studies and everything, what exactly needed to be modified in your point of view from Bentham?
Actually, that what we need to change, that is there is like the feeling of humanity actually, and for others, uh, which is the problem because we are capable of doing more than that in the ethics since
Whatever you say.
All right, now, what do you think about personhood, and like, why do you think that's so important?
What makes a person their own person is that we all have different pains and pleasures, and when we add them up on my hedonistic calculus, which I invented, you add up all your pleasures and subtract it by the pains on a scale, and we get the answer. Whatever we are measuring based on the two options we have, whichever option leads to more happiness is the one that we should choose. And so this is our person, and we all have different levels of pains and pleasures and how we perceive them, and we all can weigh them out differently based on the options in our own lives.
You see, that's my man.
It's your boy.
Yeah. So I see a personhood being like the pleasure, and the pain that we experience shape and us into who are, the best person and is that who has like experienced that pleasure and pain that combine them. Being a person is a being your own and being opinion to getting pleasure by having pain with it.
How would you know whether to put Mindscan Jake and Mindscan Karen in a category of human or not?
I'd have to say that they are not human. The nature of humanity is that we seek pleasure and pain, or we seek pleasure to avoid pain. And the mind scans, they don't have to seek the pleasure or pain that humans do because they're not made out of flesh and blood, and they don't have to fulfill our needs of food and eliminating waste and sleeping. So no, they don't do these human things.
Yes, boy, yes, boy. So I have agreed with Bentham, my friend. So in this one, so being a human is experience this pleasure and pain. That human body has pleasure, and pain comes physically and emotional.
Okay, but so how do you distinguish them from being a person or not?
Say that they're their own form of person, however, they're not a human person.
So it's kind of basically I agree with that, which is there has on them identity and how they identity themselves, how offer they are like a human as a person,
Okay, now for a more in-depth and deeper question, what does it mean to be conscious, and why is it so important to be self-aware? And are the mind scans, are they conscious and self-aware?
So basically, based to me, I don't see them like they're conscious or like self-awareness, or not like because they are not like as a human being, as a real. They have like them life kind of like what we have it, the blood, whatever. So they do not understand life as a human, So flesh, no blood. They no longer have feeling of a humanity like their flesh and fish and have,
Yeah, I'd say they are conscious and self-aware, but it's only based on their human versions, experiences, and so now that they're their own physical version of a human version, they're no longer conscious or self-aware because they are not beings, and they can't be conscious because they don't have the human makeup to be that.
Okay. All right, now, so could a mind scan have the exact same identity as the original, or how does that work?
Yes, they can do a lot. However, they only have the same identity, as the human as up to the point of the being mind scan. So after the person conscious because upload into a machine that identity seems to grow as a normal. No, it is because its own identity that is not based on human nature.
I think they have their own identity because they're able to think about what will give themselves the most amount of pleasure and the least amount of pain. However, they may not be human. They do have a sense of identity.
All right. Well, now it seems like we're running short on time. Thank you guys for coming. It's been a pleasure for having you two here. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you so
Yes.
much for having
Oh,
us.
thank you,
Like
Brian.
here, Mr. Hartford is a bit more blotchery, you know.
All right. Welcome to the show, Jake and Fake Jake. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having us.
All right. We'll start off with that now. Now, my first question to you guys is involving this mind scan book. Tell me what the hype is all about, and what the recent uproar on social media is about. Everyone is battling back and forth about what it means to be human. So my question to you is, what does it mean to be human?
Well, I feel the necessary criteria to be human starts with the natural birth process. You enter the world through the miracle of life, being born from your parents, and you are made up of flesh and blood, like me and you, unlike this thing over here. And you must be able to experience physical pain. And these are what I feel are the main points to be human.
I see in order to be human, one must be able to go through life acting out as human, which is what I do. Jake chose to have a mind scan created, so now I have taken the place of Jake Sullivan, making me Jake Sullivan.
Now, mind scan Jake, do you believe that you're completely human?
Yeah. As I stated previously, I now have my own experiences in life events that only I have been through. Yes, I do share some events with Jake Sullivan. However, he does not share my own experiences, the ones I have gone through after the procedure. This makes me pose my own personality and have humanhood traits, and I can think logically and I can do right from wrong.
Now, flesh and blood Jake, is your mind scan human?
Mind Scan Jake is not a human because he was created in a factory in Toronto, unlike me being born naturally from my parents. I am made up of 100% of flesh and blood. Mind Scan Jake has the potential to process personhood though. Since he is imperfect like this to me, he will feel the same emotions that I feel, however, only the ones that happened after the procedure. He does not understand all the things in life that I went through. For one, to have their own personal identity, like I stated, you must be able to experience real life happenings. For example, losing a loved one. Yes, I did experience this. However, Mind Scan Jake did not go through that. He has that memory in the back of his mind, but he didn't actually experience it. If this were to happen again, since he is now living as me, he would be able to feel the emotion.
Okay. Now, interesting question. Are you two the same when it comes to identities?
Yeah, I have the same personal identity as Jake Sullivan, because as far as the world is concerned, I am now him, because he decided to have me created and for himself to leave this planet. But in a way though, I feel that I have my own personal identity too. I am still me, who is different from Jake Sullivan. However, I have taken the place as him. I am him, but I am also me.
From the point they created the Mind Scan, he had the same identity as me, but now he's also living with the same memories that I had. However, it is not my experiences. Down the road, if he goes through something I did not experience, that would give him his own personal experience, thus creating his own personal identity.
Okay. Now, as far as being aware and conscious, does the mind scan allow you to be self-aware and conscious?
Yeah, I'm conscious because I'm awake and alive and here in this interview right now. And I'm aware of my location and what I'm doing. And some may say you must be self-aware, which I am, and I know exactly where I am right now.
To be conscious, you must be aware of your own body and needs. Since Mindscan Jake is a mere copy of my conscience, Mindscan Jake also does not experience moods. Does experience moods. However, they are not aware of their own body's needs. Like when I have to go to the bathroom, I know I have to go to the bathroom. When I'm hungry, I'm hungry. He doesn't experience that.
Okay, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Well, now we're running a little bit short on time. I just want to thank you so much for coming out here.
Thank you for asking me.
Thanks for being on the show.
Very good.